Hey everyone, it's Brano, and it's been 3 days since Heal to Death released, and I will eventually make a video on this, but today what I wanted to talk about was how I'm thinking about changing my development process when making games in the future. And the reason why I want to talk about this is that I think when you haven't finished and completed like games before, you really need to just focus on a development first mindset because making games is pretty darn difficult and finishing them and releasing them is, yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty in whether or not you're even going to be able to finish a single game. But I think that once you have released a couple games, I released my first like small scoped game with Platform Gun, and then I've completed my first medium scoped games with Heal to Death. And that has taught me so much about development and what I can expect from myself and the market that I sort of realize now that I want to change my process in how I make games. Now, keep in mind, if I kind of forgot everything about how to make games, I would 100% be doing a development focused process again because you just need to finish the games. I see so many people fail to even make their game. Like, just completing the game is the most important thing, and once that is more or less certain, you can actually focus a bit more on other aspects of how game development should done. You probably heard something about a vertical slice. If you've never finished a game before, I don't recommend doing a vertical slice. I recommend you doing the way that I developed Heal to Death. So I'm just going to show my screen on what the development process was of this game. So I've got kind of like a dev focus and an appeal focus right here. Dev in green, appeal in pink. And the idea of when I started was I was just getting all the mechanics down. But I also knew that I wanted my demo to kind of look okay. And so I put a little bit of time into doing the 3D models and the texturing and all that, and just enough to make the first demo pretty-ish. I didn't realize just how unacceptable my art was at the time because I thought it's like, oh, it's retro, low poly, and it just looked awful. But for the most part, I just focused on developing the game, and I really didn't care if it looked bad, and I had heard that, hey, I should have my Steam page up for, like, really early. And I got it up really early, and this is kind of a wasted launch, in retrospect. Like, I'd probably move this down to, like, here or something. I don't know, once I had something that I could actually present, and then the demo to be, like, once I've actually got a bit of appeal. But anyway, I just focused on development, and I got the Steam demo up, and eventually this is sort of when I realized that I need an artist because my game has no appeal. It doesn't matter how good the mechanics were going to be. If no one plays it and no one tries it, then it's really, it's just like, what's even the point? So at this point, this is mostly just the artist that I teamed up with doing the appeal. But you can see right here, at this point, I was basically content complete with the game. I still had a couple of features here and there. Like, I was very close to completing the game, but I kind of realized, all right, the game is almost complete. I want to now focus on appeal, and so I did a huge amount of 3D modeling, and just to make the game actually, just to be able to give myself like trailers and stuff, so that I could actually present the game in a way that looked not shit. And like eventually I do finish the game. Like I mean, technically this should probably go like around here or something, but anyway, I get to Next Fest. The game is like a game's been complete for like around here. So it's been content complete for a while. And yeah, I get Next Fest, but because these are all kind of like duds, it's not like this really builds onto the Next Fest. And I launch with 3,000 wish lists, which is not great. Now, fortunately, the game is sort of carrying itself, which is really awesome. But I am not like this miracle thinker. I really want to have some level of predictability within my games in the future. And I think it's really just like you cannot rely on a couple of like really cool Steam people just to say, oh, I found a diamond in the rough and show it to people. So what I'm going to be doing instead of this, and once again, if you've never made a game before, and like you've completed a couple game jams and you want to focus on your game, this is a totally okay way to do it. Just move the Steam page and the Steam demo later down, but focus on demoing. So this is what I'm going to be doing instead. So we've got our start right here. And once again, the demo, I'm going to be trying to get this first demo out as quickly as possible, because I want to have a playable gameplay loop. And I want to have a number of demos so I can like kind of find the fun as early on as possible. And I am going to be putting zero effort into appeal. I want capsules. I want plain textures. I do not want to focus on art or visuals at all. And eventually I'm going to be able to find the fun. Now, once I've found the fun, I need to know, like, have I found an artist to work with? And if I haven't found an artist to work with by this point, I'm just going to go pure asset pack. I'm going to buy a bunch of asset packs, and my entire focus is going to be basically making this demo that finally is fun as pretty and as appealing as possible. And once it seems to actually look pretty good, and it's like getting a couple of people who would say, hey, actually, this kind of looks like genuinely exciting, that's when I do the Steam page. And then I focus on doing the majority of development. It's going to be very much of a dev focus, but I'm going to have to drip feed in some appeal here and then as an ongoing marketing effort. Now, around the time, it's like I've got to structure the development so that I have a playable demo for like Steam at some point. And I want to launch the demo before Next Fest. But I want this to be like a genuinely like a good demo that properly demonstrates the game early on. And so I'm going to have to do probably still do some smokes and mirrors and stuff at this point, but significantly less. But yeah, like during this time, it's going to be very much about appeal and just purely focusing on making sure that this demo, like a lot of the smoke and mirrors from the Steam page get updated in the demo to actually be real. But with that said, it's like very curated. Now, from there, it's just going to be, once again, focusing on development and then purely being appeal as we get into Next Fest. And hopefully this will carry over into Next Fest, and I can then launch the next game with a decent amount of wish lists. So, why am I... so, let's just talk about, like, the change here. Basically, yeah. When you have released a game, you get to see the impact of what a single YouTuber with a reasonable size audience does. And you see it's just like all the marketing efforts you put in prior, it's nothing. It's like the tiny bit of kindling. And the problem is, like, you need to have a bit of an active fire early. And if you don't have enough kindling, you're not going to get that spark that makes content creators want to make videos about your game. Now, keep in mind, this is really difficult to do if you haven't finished a game yet, and I'm going to see how I go with this. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to succeed by doing this, but I think it is the correct style to do, which is I don't focus on appeal at all, then I focus on appeal a lot, and then, I don't know, I just do it for particular events that can give you marketing. That can actually help market your game, so you have an audience for when you launch these demos, for when Steam can actually push it to people. So anyway, this is the change that I plan to do. We'll see how it works, but yeah, otherwise, that's it for me. Bye.